Another life lost to civic apathy in Bengaluru. A 30-year-old man died near Hebbal police station bus stand in Bengaluru after he accidentally came into contact with a live wire drawn illegally to an advertisement hoarding at the bus stand. The incident took place on Saturday night. Bescom, which is the power distribution company, claims that the power installation for the ad agency was disconnected in December 2020 after the consumer failed to pay the outstanding bill. But the agency drew power from the pole once again in an unauthorized manner. A case has now been registered. Deepak joining us for more details. Deepak, extremely tragic incident coming to light here. And time and again, we're seeing these kind of incidents emerging in Bengaluru.
Yes, we're standing now at the Hebbal, bus stop. This is right next to the police station. This is where the tragic incident has taken place. A 30-year-old losing his life. Mind you, just a couple of weeks ago, there was another person who came in contact with an OFC cable, electrocuted there. That was near Sanjay Nagar, very close to the spot that we're standing in. And he too lost his life. Let me take you through what exactly happened here. This is there are three bus shelters in this particular area. This is the one where the electrocution has happened. And you can see there is no advertisement board at this point in time. It has been removed. Now, as per the Bescom officials, in 2020, power was cut off to this particular, advertisement board in this particular bus shelter. But they're saying somebody illegally, connected it from this particular pole. You're looking at the Bescom pole right next to this particular shelter, and somebody has illegally drawn a line from here and connected it to this particular shelter, is what we're hearing from the officials. It was on Saturday evening that a person was sitting here. What we've been told is that certain people who are sitting here, who happened to touch the back portion of this particular hoarding, felt a little bit of electricity surge through. They have of course moved away. Now this particular man was not very fortunate, because as soon as he tried to get up, he came in contact with this particular portion of the bus shelter, which is made of metal. And it seems, and mind you, it has also been raining over the last couple of days, so the floor was also wet here. There was also probably water dripping through this particular shelter, because it is quite rustic and old. He has come in contact with the metal and immediately collapsed after being electrocuted, is what we've been told. He was rushed to a nearby hospital but couldn't be saved. Let me now take you through this entire area to show you how the situation here is. Now, this particular pole is where what the BBMP officials say was used to draw power illegally. The question that really comes up is, while the Bescom officials are supposed to be taking care of all these aspects, what really stops them from preventing illegally without authorization use of power? Now, there's a Bescom office right. There's a BBMP office, in fact, right next to this particular bus shelter. There's also a police station, and you can imagine if this is the kind of apathy that we see at such a location, then you can imagine at more remote location what the situation would be. And even here, even now, you can see wires that are dangling. Probably these are again wires that were drawing illegal power, and even now you can see some of some of the portions of the wire still exposed. And if there is any sort of electricity running through these wires, it's a danger to anybody passing by. And this entire structure, of course, made of metal, making things even riskier for anybody sitting. Even now, there are many people, of course, seated on this bus shelter. But fortunately, the Bescom officials, of course, that day, while they realized this man got electrocuted and arrived at this particular spot, managed to disconnect the power, and they're safe for now. But the question really arises as to how many times is the Bescom or the BBMP going to shy away from its responsibility of ensuring that the work that they carry out is foolproof, and also if any sort of illegal work is being done, it is being checked, because at the end of the day, it's lives that are being lost. While on one hand, it's electrocutions that we are seeing now. In the last couple of weeks alone, 2 people dying. We've seen because of potholes, multiple people die in the city. We've seen footpaths which are meant for pedestrians being in a poor condition, and people walking on that, falling down, injuring themselves and losing their lives. I'm also now trying to we'll try and get a perspective from one of the eyewitnesses here. He of course runs a small shop in this particular area. Let's try and talk to this gentleman here. ನೀವು ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದಾ ಸರ್, ಮೊನ್ನೆ ರಾತ್ರಿ ಏನಾಯ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದಾ?
ಸರ್, ನಾವು ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಕಣ್ಣಲ್ಲಿ. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತಿದ್ರು ಅವರು, ಕೂತಿದ್ರು ಇದ್ದಕ್ಕಿದ್ದಂಗೆ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಬಿದ್ದೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ರು. ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಬಿದ್ದೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಸತ್ತೇ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ರು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅವ್ರು ಸತ್ತ ಮೇಲೆ KBನವ್ರು ಬಂದು ಕಂಬದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೋ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಆಮೇಲೆ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ನವರೆಲ್ಲ ಬಂದು ಆಂಬುಲೆನ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬಂದು
ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರು ಕೂತಿರೋರ್ಗೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೇನಾದ್ರೆ ಶಾಕ್ ಹೊಡಿತಾ?
ಇಲ್ಲ, ಒಬ್ಬರೇ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದು. ಯಾರೂ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಹೌದೌದು, ಮಳೆ ಬೀಳ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು.
ನೀವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಲೈನ್ ಇಂದ ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಪವರ್ ಡ್ರಾ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಬೆಸ್ಕಾಂ ಅವ್ರು ಬರ್ತಿರ್ತಾರ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ? ಇಲ್ಲಿ
ಬೆಸ್ಕಾಂನವರು
ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಬರ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ತಿರೋ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಅದು ಇಲ್ಲಿಗಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಪವರ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ರು ಬಸ್ ಶೆಲ್ಟರ್ಗೆ ಅಂತಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅದೇನೋ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ನಮಗೆ. ಅವರು ಸತ್ತ ಮೇಲೆ ಅವ್ರು ಕೂತಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ, ಇದ್ದಕ್ಕಿದ್ದಂಗೆ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಬಿದ್ದೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ರು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅರ್ತಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಆಮೇಲೆ KBನವ್ರು ಬಂದು ಇದು ಕಂಬದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೋ ಇದು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಅಷ್ಟು ಮಾತ್ರ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಡೆಡ್ ಬಾಡಿಗೆ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ನವರು ತಗೊಂಡೋದ್ರು.
Well, he says that he, of course, was witness to what happened. He says the man who was seated there suddenly got electrocuted, collapsed. That's when, the police arrived and the BESCOM officials arrived. They worked on this particular electricity pole to ensure that if, if there is any sort of electricity passing through the shelter, it's disconnected, and they managed to do that only on Saturday. So you can imagine the risk that many others were facing. And of course, we should understand that it was just one person who, at that point in time, who got electrocuted, whereas in this particular bus shelter, each day, thousands of people come here, take shelter, and especially because of the rains, this is the only place that they have waiting for the buses to arrive. And, putting so many people at risk, of course, is definitely a big cause of concern. And, the officials here need to really, step up and ensure that the work they do is foolproof, like I mentioned, and also any sort of illegal work that's being carried out here is checked, periodically.
Yes, absolutely, Deepak. Thank you so much for getting us those details, and especially what you showed us in terms of the situation at that bus stop, the live wires, the wires hanging, which may not have power now, but still a big cause of concern. Let me go across to Brijesh Kalapa of the Congress, who's joining us here on the phone line as well. Thank you very much, Mr. Kalapa, for joining us. I know you heard a part of what my colleague was just explaining about the situation there. There is a BBMP office right there. There is a, police station right there, and this is the situation. Wires are hanging down from that bus stop. It is literally a death trap.
This is the fourth such incident in the last 2 months, if I'm not mistaken. Earlier, there was both a father and a daughter who were electrocuted. Then last month, I think around the 27th or 28th, one life was lost in Sanjay Nagar, again due to electrocution. Now this is the third such incident involving 4 lives. And this kind of apathy is not just shocking, it's almost kind of where the government is completely deaf, dumb and blind, and repeatedly deaths are taking place. Nobody's head is rolling, and people are not feeling any safer. And this is not something which Bengaluru has ever seen earlier. This kind of Bengaluru turning into a death trap has never been witnessed earlier. And the people of the state of Karnataka decided that we're going to vote BJP for BBMP, for state and for center. And look at the kind of apathy that is reigning in Bangalore currently. Nobody speaks about it. No, there are no heads which roll, no transfers which take place, no punitive action, nothing. This is shocking, beyond shocking actually. This is completely unacceptable, and it's only the media which can, bring this to a logical end. Otherwise, it's impossible for Bengalurians to actually survive, and it's only thanks to God that some of us are actually surviving here. This is absolutely shocking.
Yes, absolutely. I completely agree with you, Mr. Kalapa. This is absolutely a shocking state of affairs at this point in time, especially when we look at Karnataka, when we look at Bengaluru. We have seen the civic apathy to a huge extent constantly coming in, whether it is the pothole-related deaths, in this case now, one after the other, such kind of, wires where the BESCOM should be taking the onus and fixing it, but that's just not being done.
Not being done, and and after having lost lives, the best way of bringing some kind of a disciplined regime into force is by ensuring that the entire top heavy organization is completely rehauled. But that doesn't happen. This is, like I told you, the third death, and the government is very merrily going about its affairs. These people have lost their lives. for absolutely no reason. And unless the government were to pay an extraordinarily heavy sum, I don't think they will come to their senses, because unless the government is given, some good treatment from the school of hard knocks, it's not possible for people and citizenry to expect that the government will get any better. And the chief minister should have rushed to the spot, met the family members. I remember an instance earlier last month when both a father and a daughter were electrocuted like this, and the girl was just about to get married. That didn't change the scenario. Another death took place last month in Sanjay Nagar. That didn't change the scenario. Now a third death has taken place. I mean, fourth death has taken place in a third incident. And, the government is still absolutely, very relaxed in its affairs. I don't know how to, what to say on this. It's, anything that you say to the government, 40% commission, everything. It's like, water off a duck's back.
Yes.
Absolutely no difference to them. Absolutely no difference.
Absolutely. Brijesh Karappa, thank you so much for joining us with your perspective. Extremely callous attitude that we're seeing here as far as such incidents are concerned.